gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream. The best is yet to come.
Stand back and stand by.
Let's please continue on.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
All the networks! All the networks!
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
All the networks!
They
all
say-
the networks!
That's amazing. How did you do that? That's
All the
amazing.
networks! All
How
the
did you do that?
networks!
I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
All the networks! All
It's a
the
verbal
networks!
ink blot test.
All the networks! All the networks!
China now.
What is going on here?
We won't talk about toilets. It's a very unpleasant experience.
You know, dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
If my grandmother had wheels instead of legs,
Oranges.
she would be a bicycle.
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big, massive dumps. Dumps. Big, massive dumps. 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 Big, massive dumps. Dumps. Sir, you just dump. Big, massive dumps.
Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just
on another level, on another level.
Dumps. Sir, you just dump. Big, massive dumps. Sir, you just dump. Big, massive dumps.
You turn the faucet on in areas where there's tremendous amounts of water, where the water rushes out to sea, because you could never handle it. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to once.
Dumps. Sir, you just dump. Big, massive dumps. Dumps.
what is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. Massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here? What is going on here? It's just beyond parody. Massive dumps cost him the election. What is going on here? What is
Dumps.
massive dumps that
Toilets 10 times.
Dumps.
multiple times. Massive dumps.
Dump. Big, massive dumps.
What is going on here? What is going on here?
Dump. Big, massive dumps.
It's all right, welcome everybody. We have hopefully one small step in the return to normalizing relations with our traditional world allies. We are about 20 minutes away from hearing from U.S. President Joe Biden and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who had a meeting today, bilateral talks. And I won't predict what we're going to hear. We will just see what we are going to hear in about 20 minutes. In the meantime, I have so many things to go over with you, including a David Pakman Show exclusive preview of something that may never even make it onto the show. It may not. We will see. I do have a super chat I want to address. It's from Avi. Avi, who says, David, it's my third time asking you this. Why don't Democrats in power pass a national holiday for Election Day or other vote expanding measures? Well, for other vote expanding measures, you'd have to tell me what it would be. And then it's a question as to whether it could be passed and whether it would be worth the political capital to pass it. In terms of making Election Day a national holiday, quite frankly, they're not doing it because it is not an issue on which there is enough of a clamoring for, as much sense as it would make, that it's worth it to them for them to do it unilaterally. It's really just that simple. What else? Oh, this is kind of weird. I don't know if you guys remember from yesterday, if you were here, but by popular demand, I got a gavel. It's a cartoonish, squeaky gavel. Seems to have some kind of mobile element here, some kind of button. Anyway, I got this for when we adjudicate unban requests on Twitch. And yesterday, just as a joke, I tried it on my head because it squeaks, as you can hear. And I know that this sounds crazy, but I'm pretty sure doing that broke the clip for my earpiece, which clips to the back of my shirt. I use a very, very powerful Swiss-made VT600 earphone, and it has a little clip, see, which is back here. And I think it broke from gaveling my own head. So I've had to put in a really strong order for a replacement clip from our friends over at BH Photo Video, who carry just the clip for the VT600. And it's going to be in very soon. Okay. I've actually had to replace the clip before because I've had this thing for like 8 years. So, it might just be that it was time, but that little squeak, it did seem to maybe do a little bit of damage. It's only a $7 clip, but the shipping is $100, but it's only a $7 clip. All right. Okay. And speaking of which, let's just do our sole unban request right now. If you've been banned on Twitch and you want to be unbanned, there is a process for requesting an unban. And we are convening here as a court of unban requests. A user yesterday said, let's just circle back on any reality we can't explain. Sad. And then they were immediately banned. They appealed by saying, I'm not seeing this as a flagrant error. The circle back comment was about Saki's past explanations. Yeah, that's an unban. That's an absolute unban. And I'm not going to call out the moderator who did that. That's not even worthy of a temporary timeout ban. So let's adjust, let's recalibrate. And on that one, we have decided unban. There it is. And the impeachment, not impeachment court, the unban court has been closed, but that is certainly not worthy of an unban. Of a ban, rather. It is worthy of a ban. It was never worthy of being banned. Thank you. We are banning bans when unbans would be obvious. All right. Okay, a few other super chats. Unknown Prodigy says, I'm hoping to hear some subtle Trump shade from both Biden and Trudeau. Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Oren says, do you think there should be more of a push to make Election Day a national holiday? It seems it would address a lot of voting accessibility issues. I've seen some opinion pieces which argue that it wouldn't be an obvious victory to make Election Day a national holiday because there are other problems that would be caused by it. And let me do a little more research. For me, it wasn't that clear. The case for it wasn't that obvious that was the solution. I think a longer period for voting, which will sort of encompass all sorts of different schedules and types of employment, might be a better way to go. And there it is. Users on Twitch very quickly saying extending early voting makes more sense. I agree. Nicholas says your big brain broke the gavel of the battleground of ideas. Right. Jay Harmon says, does anyone realize Ted Cruz looks like a real-life Simpsons character? Oh, this is actually interesting. Cancun Cruise today. Check this out. There were hearings today about the insurrection from January 6th. Let me get this properly set up. And Ted Cruz was caught on camera. He's on his phone just scrolling, and it actually looks like he's quickly tapping. I'm almost wondering if he's playing like a Candy Crush type game here. Take a look at this.
Based on the intelligence that we received, we plan for an increased level of violence at the Capitol and that some participants may be armed. But
there
none
it is.
of the intelligence we received predicted what actually occurred.
For some reason, I imagine that he's playing Snood or something like that. Just look at him tapping away on that thing.
May be armed, but none of the intelligence we received predicted.
So he's really very much keyed in, as you can see on the proceedings. And the proceedings were completely nuts. Here's Senator Ron Johnson casually mentioning there might have been no bona fide Trump supporters at the insurrection. It was all fake Trump protesters. Listen to this insanity.
Thousands of people I passed or who passed me along Constitution Avenue, some were indignant and contemptuous of Congress, but not one appeared angry or incited to riot. Many of the marchers were families with small children. Many were elderly, overweight, or just plain tired or frail, traits not typically attributed to the riot prone. Many wore pro-police shirts or carried pro-police black and blue flags. Although the crowd represented a broad cross-section of Americans, mostly working class by their appearance and manner of speech, some people stood out. A very few didn't share the jovial, friendly, earnest demeanor of the great majority. Some obviously didn't fit in, and he describes 4 different types of people: plainclothes militants,
right,
agents provocateurs, fake Trump protesters, and then disciplined, uniformed column of attackers. I think these are the people that probably planned this. He goes on, the D.C. Metropolitan Police were their usual professionally detached selves, standing on curbs or at street crossings and exchanging an occasional greeting from marchers. When we crossed First Street Northwest to enter the Capitol grounds where the Capitol Police had jurisdiction, I noticed no police at all. Several marchers expressed surprise. The openness seemed like a courtesy gesture from Congress, which controls security.
Okay, so anyway, needless to say, it was everybody other than actual Trump supporters. Complete and total clown. That is Ron Johnson. All right, so there it is. I'll have full coverage of those hearings tomorrow. Kyle wants to know, what's my opinion on term limits for senators and maybe an age limit at least, wondering your thoughts and known paths and any known paths to this becoming a law. It's not en route to becoming a law anytime soon. I am in favor of term limits for senators. Absolutely. And you can find clips I've done on that on my YouTube channel. Have discussed it quite a bit, and I encourage you to check it out. A big thank you to Jay Harmon for gifting a sub on Twitch, as well as Big Lanky for subscribing, as well as Actual One. 3 people, 3 perfect signups on Twitch so far, putting us at 3 for the day. And I do want to let you know, we have fixed the coupon code, okay? The coupon code BETTER21 on my website, joinpacman.com. It has been fixed. It is working. And I encourage you to grab we finally fixed the coupon code. I know it hasn't been working for years. It now works, and you can you can avail yourself of that. And I will give a shout out to everybody who signs up. While the GOP is too far gone, I do feel our democracy requires sensible, loyal opposition. I don't disagree, Billy. And Billy goes on to say, ideally, we'd have a variant of the Democratic Party that's more centrist in some areas and more progressive in others. Well, the Democratic Party is centrist. What we need is something to the left of the Democratic Party. And certainly, if the Republican Party also came to the left, then we would just be better off in general. Pedro says, feeling conflicted with Manchin's opposition to Tandon's nomination versus Hallen's. The former feels justified, the latter just petty. I agree. But also, I mean, listen, I don't like Neera Tandon as a nominee. And when Joe Biden released his nominees, when he dumped the names, I said, I'm against Neera Tandon. She's the worst of the establishment Democratic Party, Center for American Progress. Bad, like weaponized bad. The reason Manchin gives for opposition is ridiculous because he voted for Kavanaugh. I mean, give me a break. It's completely pathetic. Nick says, from London, Ontario, I'd like to say welcome back, United States. Thank you. Midge says, I never understood term limits. Term limits don't get rid of lobbyists. Logically, there would still be corruption, would there not? Yeah, term limits only addresses one element of the problem. Scott says, tried the coupon code. Doesn't work, Pacman. It's weird because people are using it. Let's do a test. Let's test the coupon code. Okay, let me see here. I like yearly because yearly is a bigger discount. I hit sign up. Okay, coupon code field. Better 21. Oh no, it actually isn't working today. Oh my God, it's hanging. Can you imagine? It actually seems not to be working for the first time ever. Oh, and there it worked. Oh, that was a weird glitch. Maybe there were just a bunch of people using it at once. That's weird. No, now it is working. Now it is working. That was weird. I almost had to adjudicate it not working, but it is working perfectly. Okay, good. All right, so we've gotten that out of the way. Very much appreciate that. Okay, now that you have the gavel, you have no excuse not to debate Kent Hovind. I don't know who that is. Have you ever considered if maybe to split California into 3 states to get legitimate representation of 6 senators? Yes, I have covered that. I have covered that on the show, and it is very, very interesting as an idea. Okay, let's do something very, very special here, all right? This is an exclusive. I don't even know if this will make it onto the David Pakman Show podcast, TV show, radio show, all that stuff. As many of you may know, we get about 6,000 different messages every day. If you include YouTube comments, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, website emails, tweets to the show account, and on and on and on and on. About 6,000 a day. So on our website, it says very clearly, if you go to contact us, I don't read every email, and I certainly can't respond. I can't engage in political discussions via email. Some people get really mad about that. Okay. I mean, my job is to do the show. It's not to answer emails. But today, an email was brought to my attention from a really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, or kooky, use whatever term you want, anti-vaxxer. And I actually decided, for the good of the show, for content, for the lulls, whatever phraseology you want to apply to it, I decided to actually respond and see if we can learn something about anti-vaxxerism, okay? I'm going to give you guys the conversation so far, and you are going to be stunned by this, okay? I got an email this morning from a concerned viewer named Amy. And Amy said, just curious, how could you deceive others when it comes to the COVID and the vaccines? I'm well aware that you know, you being me, that it's all a scam and the so-called vaccines are causing deaths. Is money that important to you that you have to go along with this? Like, who would pay me to say I got my vaccine and we should get vaccines? Like, why would anyone pay me to say that? That's crazy. People are starting to despise you. And they've despised me for a long time. It has nothing to do with vaccines. And you don't have to believe me, but all traders involved in this scam will see a prison cell. It's already mentioned in a couple lawsuits I know of. So keep on with your nonsense and you will see. Now, again, we get 6,000 messages a day. About 10% are this bonkers. But this actually seemed like maybe someone where we could learn something. Okay? So I responded and I said, no one has died from the vaccine. We will not spread dangerous propaganda on our show. And Amy was wired up from this and responded to me 2 times. This gets really good, guys. I settle in, get the popcorn, okay? Amy says, I have proof. I also have proof from CDC documents we are being played. The fact that you don't even ask about the proof I have proves you are involved in this scam. So now I'm interested, okay? She says that the vaccines are causing deaths. Okay, send me the documents. Where was the other part? It's mentioned in a couple of lawsuits. Send me the documents. Okay. I have proof from CDC documents that we are being played. So I write back and I say, oh, this is the same one. But before I get to it, she's so wound up. She sends me another email. I've not even responded yet, where she says, just curious how you could deceive others when it comes to the COVID and the oh, wait, no, hold on. This is the original one. What am I looking at? Oh, no, it's almost. This is the same one. Sorry. Okay. I don't know why this one is back in here. Let's skip that. Okay. So I write back, okay, send it. She says, I have proof. I also have proof from CDC documents. She's shocked and appalled I haven't asked for the proof. So I say, Send it. Send me the proof. All right, everybody with me so far? I know it got a little confusing there. Okay, everybody's with me. Very good. The response is no documents. You know exactly what's up. There are CDC documents admitting we're being played. Lawsuits filed saying we are being played. Mike Pompeo was asked one time if COVID was a hoax. He wouldn't answer. That's for political reasons. It's not for science reasons. As for the fake vax, why would Fauci get caught fake getting it? I have that proof too. There's all kinds of death reports. And the list of proof goes on and on. You do know all this. So think about everything we have now that she's offered, right? The vaccines are causing deaths. Couple lawsuits. CDC documents. Okay? I say send them. She now brings up lawsuits filed, Pompeo, fake vax, Fauci faked it, has proof of that, there's death reports, all this different stuff. I'm just waiting for the docs. Okay? So then I say, please send me the documents so I can review them. Lawsuits and documents. I want the docs. Okay? Send me the documents. Amy writes, I'll get the info together now. However, so now it starts to step back. However, I feel like this is a trick because I know how you people work. You all want to know what info we have so you can scrub it from the internet. What? I'm not stupid and I don't trust anyone. There's no way you don't know this, especially doing what you do. So first she's mad I didn't ask for the documents. Now she's suspicious that I did. Okay? This is how conspiratorial thinking works. Let's continue. While I'm getting the info here is the name of one attorney dealing with a lawsuit. Reiner Rolmick. Hold on a second. Wait a second. That name actually, let me search something. Rolmick. Okay, no. Okay, that's nothing. Fine. Fair. Let's continue. And a question still is, why wouldn't Mike Pompeo answer when asked if COVID was a hoax? He didn't answer because it was a political thing that was the Trump administration was wrapped up in. That's not proof of anything. Why would Dr. Fauci fake getting the so-called vaccine? Okay, so now she's worried if she sends the documents, it's going to be a trick, right? So now let's continue. She says, I'm getting the info together. And like I said, Reiner Rolmick is one of the attorneys and he admits it's fraud. And I made clear, it's no trick. I want to see the info. I'm just waiting for the info from Amy. So then she says she found everything. Remember all the things she's promised. Documents, proof of this, proof of that. People died, all this different stuff. Now Amy says, I just ran across this about the inventor of the tests they're using for COVID. He tells you it can't detect if you're sick. Notice how they remove the video because it's truth. Like I said earlier, you all want to know what we have so it can be scrubbed. Anyway, here's some extra proof. Now, this article is nothing. You look at this article, PCR inventor, it doesn't tell you that you are sick. Right. PCR tests are measuring for indicators of whatever it is you are testing for. You might have that in your system and not be sick. That's not new. That's not unique to COVID tests. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But remember, she promised me. Oh, hold on. Wait a second. There it is. She promised me CDC documents, lawsuits, proof that the vaccines are killing people. And now all she finds is an article that says PCR tests don't necessarily tell you if you're sick. So I wrote back and I said, you said, Amy, you had proof the vaccine is killing people. This is an article about testing. Can you send the articles you mentioned about vaccines as well as the lawsuits? That was 7 hours ago, and I've not heard back from her. Okay, so what is the lesson here? I don't really know what the lesson is, but I guess the lesson is when you see someone this certain about things that they are saying, it starts with this. It ends up with nothing. It ends up with nothing at all. She is able to present me nothing whatsoever. So I hope that that's sort of informative to people. That's one trip down the rabbit hole. I guess I was red-pilled by her or something. I don't even understand. But it's crazy. That's we'll see if I hear back. Otherwise, I don't know if that's worthy of a segment on the podcast. Thanks to the Freak for 12 months subscribed to Twitch Prime, as well as Red Team Go 88, Then Mailman, and a bunch of other great people have signed up via Twitch. In fact, 4 people, putting us at 7. A whole bunch of people have also signed up on my website, and I want to thank every single one of you. First, thanks to Chance Baker for signing up on my website. Thanks to Leah Sutton. Thank you, Leah. Very much appreciate Andrew Anderson signing up at joinpacman.com. Shayna Bazik is a new member at joinpacman.com. David Williamson has signed up. Lucky Andrade has signed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm counting. 6. And also a big thank you to Bree Schmidt. Thanks, Bree. New member number 7, putting us at a total of 14 for the day. I very much appreciate that. Yeah, one of the things that some people are pointing out is with a conspiracy theorist, anything becomes part of the conspiracy. First, the fact that I didn't ask for the documents was part of the problem. Then it was suspicious that I asked for the documents. She also believes that I have the power to scrub documents from the internet. My guess is if I hear back from her, she'll say, now she can't find the documents because they've been scrubbed, and that's part of the conspiracy. We did a very interesting interview a few months ago about how conspiratorial thinking works. These are all elements of it. And I think it's important that we call it out. All right. Other super chats here. Evan says, tried to use the Better 21 coupon code, but I got detained by the FBI, interrogated for hours. They said something about criminally low prices. That is a risk anytime you try to sign up on my website. Ms. Smith says, hi from the UK. Do you feel the Supreme Court ruling against Trump will really get him in a courtroom? So the Supreme Court ruling against Trump has nothing to do with getting him in a courtroom. The Supreme Court ruling, if you're referring to yesterday's on taxes, is merely that he has to turn over his tax returns to the Manhattan District Attorney. That's all it is, unless I'm missing something else. Finn says, Boris Johnson's hair. Can you imagine? I know. Ali Reza says, you had a clip about DC becomes the 51st state. How about combining the Dakotas? Should some California electoral points be given to Texas due to population moving there? That all gets handled with the census. So all of those questions are going to be answered, my friend. No need to worry. Kyle says term/age limits for senators plus eliminating lobbyist corporate donors is legitimate government. Let's make it happen. Yeah, you've got to deal with lobbying as well, of course. Okay. Got to deal with both. Thanks to Geek Greg for gifting 5 subs on Twitch. Appreciate that. Elias would love to see a show with Bo of the 5th column. I'd be up for that. Light of the Twin Lamp says, oh, glorious Pac-Man, please have mercy in your heart and ask your Discord mods to unban Hector8474. I don't know anything about it. You'd have to talk to them. Kyle comes in out of nowhere and says, this woman sounds like the Amy from Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. She only trusts cats. She needs answers right meow. I am not familiar with that. Kent Hovind is Dr. Dino, the creationist nutjob who debates atheists and scientists. Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell III argued brilliantly against Hovind before. Okay, fair. Do you think Trudeau will be visibly relieved to work with an adult as president? I believe so, yeah. Certainly. I love watching U.S. politics to imagine what the 1960s European, Australian, New Zealand era policy conversations were like, but in HD. The talk of communism is also great. Yeah, it's a wild time. And Naba says, if we hear nothing else about these emails, I guess that Amy's referencing, it proves Pac-Man is deep state. Right. All right. So we're all caught up as far as that goes. Also, I am aware of the Tiger Woods news, and Tiger Woods was in a very serious car accident. There is a sheriff's press conference scheduled for the top of the hour. It's not the type of thing I would normally look to stream, but if the timing works out with this Biden-Trudeau event, we will go over to it. All right. So we will stand by. Big thank you also to KY Dizzle B for gifting 7 subscriptions. We still have, hold on, who are our top donors ever of subs. I had that information. Oh, I think because there's a hype train going on, I can't access it. That's too bad. Inconsolable is still the top gifter with over 500 gifted subs on the channel. I don't remember who. David Chadman, I think, is number 2. And yeah, I believe that is it. Moderator. Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up. More than 500. Yeah, it's an absolutely brutal, brutal number. Oh, I do have one other ban to adjudicate. Let's call to order the Twitch unban request court. There it is. Okay, this is a user called No Culture whose participation in the channel was as follows. Twitch court is now in session. Joe Biden is a pedophile. Joe Biden lied about the 2K. White lives matter. White lives matter. They were then banned, and their unban request was white lives matter. With absolutely no hesitation or uncertainty whatsoever, this court takes no pleasure in making this decision, but it is the decision that must be done. This will be a denied unban request that is going permaban. And this concludes this unban request court. That is permanently a ban. And I think everybody in the chat knows that. Yeah, it's over. It is over. Okay. Kyle says, can't say I'm too hopeful about the future prospect of the country. We have been flipping Democrat, Republican for God knows how long. Abolish the Electoral College. Well said, my friend. Light of the Twin Lamp says, if the U.S. collapsed overnight, what country would you flee to? Listen, if the question is just if I had my choice of places, I would probably be looking at either Switzerland or some of my other favorite Northern European social democracies. Denmark is absolutely fantastic. The places I've talked about that are really great places. Maybe just for convenience, Canada, Montreal, one of my favorite places. If it's places where I could legally go, I think I'm down to Argentina or Israel. And it's chaos in Argentina right now. Cronyism with the Sputnik vaccine. I guess I wouldn't have to worry about the vaccine since I got the Moderna first dose and I'm about to get the second one. But I mean, I think my choices would be Israel and Argentina. Right now, I think it would have to be Israel from my legitimate choices. Let's see what else we've got. Alvaro says, have you followed the individuals arrested due to the Capitol riots? Yes, to some degree. I would suggest sedition hunters on Twitter to get you to your viewers to help catch them. All right, I will check that out. Covering this event is an honest day's work, making Trudeau. Nicely done. You must be a father, Daniel. Grant says, has David heard of the Great Reset conspiracies? Yes, I have. Timothy says, I think you missed my earlier chat, and I feel my human rights have been violated, alerting the UN. Let's see. Timothy. What do I think of Murray Bookchin? I actually don't know who that is. Let's see. Murray Bookchin. Murray Bookchin was an American anarchist, political philosopher, trade union organizer, and educator, a pioneer in the environmental movement. Sounds very interesting. Developed the theory of social ecology and urban planning. Very interesting. That sounds fascinating. My guess is from his name that he is from the old country, as we might say. Yeah, Russian Jewish immigrants. Yep. Seems like an interesting guy. I will research further. Taylor says, I would much prefer a rubber chicken sound effect for the unbanned denial ruling. Here's $5 towards purchasing a chicken. That I don't know. I think if I were to do that, I would have to do some kind of soundboard. There actually are soundboards we could use. I just don't know if they would be particularly useful. Let me see. Like, for example, let's see.
I thought it was terrific. It was clean. It was
nice and the bed was good.
That's like for a clean unban. And if we have to maintain a ban, then maybe it would be like, let me see, what would it be? Maybe like this?
Bullshit.
Or,
I don't care.
I don't know.
Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with the gavel for now. I think the gavel's working pretty well for us. Okay. Oh, I missed a few here. Oh, have I heard you liked visiting Montreal? Did you know Kamala Harris lived here during her teenage years and she attended the same school as Leonard Cohen? I did not know that. You know, we have a friend in the, this is so funny. We have a friend in Canadian Parliament. It is a guy with one of the coolest names I've ever heard. He follows me on Twitter. Anthony Housefather. Anthony Housefather MP is a Canadian member of Parliament representing the riding of Mount Royal on the island of Montreal. This is one of our friends. I don't know if anybody is represented by this guy, but that is a fantastic last name. One of the best last names, arguably, I've ever heard, Anthony Housefather. And if I ever get back up to Montreal, I hope to get together with him. Let's see what else we've got. Have I ever thought of going to Mexico? I've been to Mexico many times. And I am planning to Google search flights to Cancun once this press briefing starts, actually. Excuse me. Will we be getting a season 2 of David's Garden this year? Yes. In fact, I have exciting news about that. We have a very interesting crossover. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Kevin Espiritu's Epic Gardening. Okay? Right now, go to his Instagram, go to his YouTube channel and tell him David Pakman sent you with peace and love. My plan is to send a picture of my setup to Kevin very soon and then have him advise me on what upgrades I can get to my planter beds because we need bigger cukes. We need bigger zooks this season. I don't think he's on Twitch, but he did ask me about maybe doing some live streaming at some point. Okay, so that's that. Oh, by the way, there's another YouTube channel I wanted to recommend. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, how am I going to find this? Oh, maybe I can't. There's a guy I know who started a cooking YouTube channel. He only has like 1,000 followers. Thai cooking. It's fantastic. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's good. I'll have to have it ready for the next. This is someone who their channel is so small right now that they would be shocked if we sent them a massive dump of subscriptions. No, I'm not able to find it. I just wasn't prepared. I apologize. Yeah, it'll be for next time. It'll be for next time. Like completely authentic from scratch Thai food. All right, let's move on. Oh, I'm sorry. There's so many people I'm supposed to be thanking. ASF Klops has subbed with Prime and says absolutely loving the Twitch unban request trails. Keep up the great work, David. Billy Quizboy subscribed for 3 months and Pilot Dog for 6 months. In total, 24. Wow, 24 people just subscribed via Twitch, putting us at 38. I also want to say thank you to Kathy Lenahan for signing up at joinpacman.com. Travis Stopforth, who just signed up on my website. Janet Chandler, as well as Christopher Adcock, that's 4. Christy Hartwine has signed up on my website. Forrest Nelson is new member number 6. And Asim Amin also signed up. That's 7 at joinpacman.com, putting us at 45. Very much appreciate that, guys. Really do. Very, very much appreciate it. Okay, so that was a tangent based on the gardening question. In 2 sentences, why do you think Israel has had a successful vaccination campaign? Oh, did you guys hear that? Is one of these live? No, none of them is live. Israel has had a successful vaccination campaign because they made an early deal with Pfizer in exchange for full, strong data, and there's not that many people in the country. Those are the reasons. Uh-oh. Moderators on Twitch and YouTube, stand back and stand by for anti-Semitism, okay? Anti-Semitism is insta-ban. Moderators on Twitch and YouTube, I should have known I was stepping into a minefield with that. Get ready for the ban hammers, okay? Please have them at the ready because I can already see the direction it's going. Thank you. Who do you think will win the arm wrestling match when they shake hands? Yeah, I don't expect that to go down, but let's look at, remember Trump's handshake games? Those were so funny. Let's see if we can find one here. What was this one? I don't even think I've seen this one.
Trump going in for the handshake and a head fake, then settled for a backslap. Senator Mark.
That's weird. I like the this Trump's handshake troubles are significant. I like that one. The walk by. There's one with Macron that's really good. Where is the Macron one? Trump handshake, Macron. That may be one of my favorites. This one right here, where it just like goes on, and then you've got the pat and then the shake, and now pulls him in, and he's still going, and then now they're in kind of like a something else. I don't even know. What's this one called? I don't even remember what that one's called. So there was that one. What was the other handshake one? Was that the one with Shinzo? Yeah, I think this is it. Oh, God. Hold on. I missed it. Let me go back. Now it's getting weird. This is my favorite moment right here. This is the moment, arguably the best moment of any. If you look at U.S.-Japanese relations for the Trump era, the two best moments were this and when Shinzo Abe's wife pretended not to speak English to not have to speak to Melania. That's a true story. That's been widely reported. Okay. Oh, I've got a lot of stuff to close out here. Okay. Very good. So we are caught up there. We're standing by for Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau. We also, just by chance, are kind of standing by for this Tiger Woods press conference. Tiger Woods in a very serious car accident. Not really the type of thing we would normally cover, but if we happen to catch it, we will look at it. Let's see what's going on here. This person doesn't seem to know she's on camera.
Investigation of this. There was another traffic collision that happened with people being looky-loos, but that, thankfully, there was no injuries associated with that. The vehicle traveled several hundred feet from the center divider at the intersection and rested on the west side of the road in the brush. Sustained major damage to the vehicle. You've seen all the images of that. And with that, our Lomita Sheriff Station will be conducting the traffic investigation, and it'll take from days to several weeks to get the whole thing together. Once the investigation is completed, we will provide a detailed report. It'll be available, based on Public Record Act request, and we will not discuss it any further after that point. But at this point, I want to introduce Chief Darrell Osby, LA County Fire Department.
And by the way, this is just a curiosity because some people have been mentioning it. As soon as the Biden-Trudeau event starts, we're going to go right over to it.
Good afternoon. I'm Fire Chief Darrell Osby of the Los Angeles County Fire Department. At approximately 7:22 this morning, resources from Los Angeles County Fire Station 106 received a report of a solo vehicle accident at the intersection of Hawthorne Boulevard and Palos Verdes Drive North in Rolling Hills Estates. Upon arrival at the scene of the incident, the sheriffs on scene, resources and personnel from the Los Angeles County Fire Department observed a single rollover vehicle incident with one person trapped. The person trapped was extricated by the Los Angeles County Fire Department personnel. Earlier, it was stated that the jaws of life was utilized to extricate the person trapped. It was later determined by our personnel that a Halligan tool, which is used for prying, and an axe was also used to pry the person free from the vehicle.
All right, so we're going to get away from this. They clearly aren't going to be able to, nor would we expect them to comment on Tiger Woods' medical condition, which seems to be what people are wondering about. And I think it's not really on brand with this live stream to air that necessarily. I don't know. It seems like it's not really for us. So we're going to stand by here for the Joe Biden event with Justin Trudeau, which is going to be starting very, very soon, scheduled for 15 minutes ago, and it should be starting shortly. Okay, other super chats. Jacob says, hold on a second. Where did that go? Where did Jacob go? Now that the USMCA is signed and Asia is less stable, do you think it would be wise to revisit the Trans-Pacific Partnership? Not because of the USMCA. No, I wouldn't say that. Sitcom court is in session. How do you respond to charges of fraudulently claiming Seinfeld is better than Frasier? It's not even close. Let's even do a straw poll among our audience just to see. I think that we have a Seinfeld audience, but let's see. Which is better? Whoops. Seinfeld, Frasier. We want spam prevention. All right, let's just see what our audience thinks. I would be shocked if our audience is a Frasier audience. I'm pasting the straw poll link in Twitch and YouTube chat. I'll vote Seinfeld. People know my vote, so I don't think that's a surprise. Let's see. I think that we have a Seinfeld audience. Let's take a look at the results. Voting is on now. It takes a moment, I guess, for the first votes to be tallied. Do we know why it's still at 0? Let's refresh here. This is weird. How are we not having any votes? I just pasted the link in Twitch chat a second time and in YouTube as well. Huh, it might be broken. That's weird. It's letting me vote again? That's strange. Let's just go straight to results. Oh, hold on a second. I pasted the results link, I think. Hold on. All right, I'm pasting it again. I don't know what the hell is going on now. All right. Well, it failed. No problem. I am sure I'm making an executive decision. I'm sure that Seinfeld is more popular with my audience than Frasier. Let's continue. David, have you read Austerlitz by W.G. Sebald? I have not. Colton wants to know if I can wish Colton's cousin Annie a happy birthday. Yes, Annie, happy birthday. I hope that it's absolutely fantastic. And thanks, Colton, for being here today. Shamika says, David, just wondering, when are you going to address the Andrew Cuomo nursing home disaster in New York? We've been addressing it since last week on the bonus show. We have been talking about it, and we will continue to talk about it. Emmanuel Julea says, Anthony Housefather is my MP. Cheers from Montreal. Beautiful. Who's your favorite founding father and why? Yeah, that's like saying who's my favorite president. I don't know. I'm terrible at answering those things. Doug says, third time to super chat, no shouts. Getting vaccine Tuesday, Alabama. Beautiful, Doug. Good luck with that. Looking forward to you being vaccinated. And Anna says, thoughts on Cuomo's nursing home scandal. Yeah, we've been talking about that on the bonus show. So I try not to redo content, but we have been discussing that. All the Frasier votes broke the straw poll, says Bronx Bjorn. I highly doubt that. I am sure that that is not the case. Big thank you to Justin Thompson. Thanks, Justin, for signing up on my website. Justin is new member number 46 today. We also just had an additional 3 Twitch subscribers come in. Thanks to Evan Lutz Music, who has subscribed for 9 months, Alexander the Grape, who has been subscribed for 8 months, and AJ4AU, who has been subscribed for 6 months. Appreciate that. Okay, here's an interesting question. David, who's your favorite Backstreet Boy or Spice Girl? My favorite Backstreet Boy is Justin Timberlake, and my favorite Spice Girl is the British one. All right? Never ask me that again. Thank you. David, what's keeping you from moving to a country that's more in line with your political views? That's a no comment. And as many of you know, I am all over the place. And I may already be in such a country. Yaney Nicole says, David, both sitcoms can coexist. They were both excellent in their time. We don't need to choose. Of course we don't. Yeah, I'm fine with people watching Frasier. It was just never my show. You know, that's it. That is it. But I have no problem. I mean, listen, the truth is, Curb's the better show, better than all of them. Oh, some people are demanding I go back to the Tiger Woods thing. All right, let's see what they're saying.
Any skid marks or any indicating that he tried to brake or stop?
No skid marks, no braking. So apparently the first contact was with the center median, and from there then crossed into the opposing lane of traffic, hit the curb, hit a tree, and there was several rollovers during that process.
They haven't given you any kind of a preliminary indication in excess of 45, 50, 55 miles an hour?
That they're going to have to figure that one out. That's why the traffic investigators make the big bucks that they make.
Sheriff, what can you tell us about his condition now? Are you still in touch with Mr. Woods' team?
We've reached out. We've been in touch with his manager, and they don't want to release anything on his condition right now.
We heard that he's out of surgery and perhaps been moved to his own room, Sheriff.
All we know that a serious condition as a result of the accident, and that's about all they want to say.
You know that weather is a factor in this accident, Sheriff?
Weather is not a factor.
Sheriff. You get him out of the car. How long was that process?
Well, we arrived on scene at 7:18. They were notified within 4 minutes, and
we got the call from the Sheriff Department at approximately 7:22 this morning. Our resources arrived on scene at approximately 7:28. I don't have the information right now in relation to how long it took to extricate him from the vehicle.
Do you have any indication if there were drugs or medications involved and why he was heading that way?
No.
Who called it in? Did someone call 911, a bystander? And is there any indication he fell asleep at the wheel?
we had a neighbor called 911. That's how the call was received at the station.
And you said no impairment. Is it possible he fell asleep at the wheel?
No evidence of impairment this time. That'll be subject to the investigation.
When you say no evidence of impairment, what impairments are you looking for?
Well, we're looking at signs of under the influence of either narcotics, medication, alcohol, odor of alcohol, all these different things that would give you an idea in their behavior, but there was none present.
And in medical episodes appear he could have fallen asleep, had a heart attack, something like that?
Now we're going beyond what we have at the time, so that'll take, the investigators will have to figure that one out.
I understand some vehicles now have essentially a black box that reports certain information about how fast the car is going, did airbags deploy, telemetry, that sort of thing. Did this vehicle have that? Will you get information from that as the investigation?
The investigators will be able to, if they have it, they'll be able to have that and download it, and that will give us a good idea.
Was Sheriff, you said Tiger's team following the vehicle? Was it just him solo?
Not that we're aware of.
Sheriff, you said that he was conscious, I believe. Was he able to communicate how much pain he was in, whether or not... Was he able to communicate at all?
He was able to communicate, and he was conscious. I'll leave it at that.
Wanting a Spanish answer about the circumstances of the accident.
No sabemos cuánto es, pero era considerable según el punto de partida de donde...
We don't know what the speed was, but it was considerable based on the departure point from the road and where it fell.
Cientos de pies. Y obviamente eso es una velocidad acelerante que se necesita para cubrir esa distancia.
Okay.
Hay una curva y está cuesta abajo a la misma.
There's a curve and then it's downhill.
How long he was in the car before 911 arrived? Did he say at all how long he'd been waiting?
Well, we got the call at 7:12, and that came from the neighbors, so we have to assume they made that call almost immediately as soon as it happened, because the neighbors, they're sitting right within 50 feet of the location. So
they saw the crash happen?
if they did.
All right, so there's that. Next, we will go to the Daft Punk breakup press conference by popular demand. If indeed it coincides with the other things that we are doing here. Okay, a few other super chats are coming in. Nicholas says, people are saying Mike Pillow is going to release the evidence of the fraud in the poll very soon. Yeah, any day now we're going to get all that evidence from Mike Pillow. Brian asks, David, do you feel as if your rights are being violated by being kept from becoming president due to your immigration background? Yeah, I believe my civil rights have been violated because I wasn't born in the United States, and they're not letting me be president. It is what it is, as they say. Joe Rader says Tiger should have bought a Tesla. Eugene says, whose duty is it to take up the task of deprogramming? Is it localized, talking to one loved one by loved one, or is there a governmental role? Well, this is the retail versus the wholesale strategy. The retail strategy of trying to deprogram individual people in your life, that's one thing. At a wholesale strategy, we have to start with education and go to media and so many other things. These are two aspects of deprogramming that can happen at the same time and really have to happen at the same time. Check out my 5 or 6 clips over the last months about deprogramming Trumpists. Chakaseki says, what did you think of Senator John Kennedy's incoherent, rambling, and flaccid questioning of Merrick Garland about Kennedy possibly being racist? I didn't see that. Let's take a look at that. So this is Kennedy, Garland, racist. Let's see if we can find it.
About this concept of implicit bias.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm a racist no matter what I do or what I think? I'm a racist, but I don't know I'm a racist?
That's right.
Okay, the label racist is not one that I would apply like that. Implicit bias just means that every human being has biases. That's part of what it means to be a human being.
Garland is, like, whatever you think about Merrick Garland, he actually is a brilliant guy. And it was made so evident yesterday. Like, you could be like, oh, he's not progressive enough for me. Okay, fair. It was actually very interesting. I didn't see this clip.
And the point of examining our implicit biases is to bring our conscious mind up to our unconscious mind.
Okay, and then I guess there's another one.
Let me ask you about this concept of implicit bias.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's skip ahead.
I'm a racist, but I don't know I'm a racist?
Okay, the label racist is not one that I would apply like that. Implicit bias just means that every human being has biases. That's part of what it means to be a human being. And the point of examining our implicit biases is to bring our conscious mind up to our unconscious mind and to know when we're behaving in a stereotyped way. Everybody has stereotypes. It's not possible to go through life without working through stereotypes. And implicit biases are the ones that we don't recognize our behavior. That doesn't make you racist, no.
Who judges that? Doesn't the person judging me have his own implicit bias? How do I know his implicit bias isn't worse than my implicit bias?
I agree, but I'm not judging you, Senator, and I don't know
I'm not asking
who
you
would be judging.
But somebody, if you say you have implicit bias, that's a pejorative statement.
It's funny. Implicit bias isn't really pejorative any more than it's pejorative to say people have an availability bias, where when you think about, what color cars are there, you're more likely to list colors that are predominant. You're unlikely to say, oh, well, indigo is a really common car color. No, you're going to go to the colors that are around you. It's not pejorative to recognize a bias.
I'm not saying you're being mean. You're not a mean guy. That's obvious. You're a nice guy. If you say somebody has implicit bias, somebody's got to make that subjective judgment, and the person making that subjective judgment has implicit bias.
This guy's really dumb. Like, really, this is weaponized ignorance.
Being a human, then how do you know who wins?
Fair enough, but if we say that all people have implicit bias, it's not, you shouldn't take it as pejorative.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm glad that Garland got to, it's not pejorative.
This is just an element of the human condition.
Wow. That's one of those examples where the level at which Merrick Garland's thinking on these issues exists it's not even in the it shouldn't even be in the same legislative chamber as Senator Kennedy. It's really stunning to see. It's like a Grand Canyon between the two on their ability to, given the lack of knowledge that Kennedy has, I think Garland did a good job. But it's wow. How is it that Kennedy gets to decide if Garland is Attorney General? That's my takeaway from that. How on earth do we let Kennedy have a vote? Bonkers. Okay. Other super chats coming in. Oh, sorry. Thanks to Miles Joseph for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Also, thanks to Inconsolable for gifting a subscription to a user who goes by the name Aerodynamic Fetus. Very much appreciate that. That is 2 additional Twitch subscribers, putting us at 51. Also want to say thank you to Nick Zlever, or Zlavor, Nick Zlavor, for signing up at joinpacman.com using that perfect coupon code BETTER21. Appreciate that as well. Other super chats coming in. Do you think Joe Biden's age precludes an incumbent run in 2024? And if so, who would you like to see the Democrats nominate in 2024? That's one of those questions that there's no point in getting involved with now. I have no idea what's going to happen with Joe Biden in terms of re-election. I'm thinking of the next 3 months, COVID relief, vaccines, and then the 2022 election. If Joe Biden doesn't run for re-election, then we'll think about who I would like to see run in his place. Josh Hogan says, David, what are your thoughts on the first migrant facility for children opening under the Biden administration? Disgusting. I have a segment yesterday. Actually, it was on yesterday's podcast, came out on today's, in terms of a YouTube clip. And it is called, what is it called? Joe Biden's biggest broken promise so far. All right. So I would love for you to check out that clip. I talk about that issue. James says, what do you think about the new police reform bill that Illinois signed into law yesterday? I didn't see it. I apologize. I've not looked at that yet. Dexy says, please do a summary about New York for non-members. All right. Maybe tomorrow. Let's see what is going on. Here we go. We are standing by. We have a podium and a lectern. We have both. And here's Joe Biden.
Good evening, everyone. Justin, we had good meetings. Prime Minister Trudeau and I just concluded a very productive bilateral meeting, the first of what I'm sure will be many close and cooperative sessions. One of our last foreign trips I made was, as Vice President, was to visit the Prime Minister in Ottawa. And today, we're able to drive right into the many vital issues of importance for both our nations. For both our nations, getting COVID under control at home and around the world is an immediate priority. And we're committed to work together to help prevent future biological threats by strengthening the World Health Organization, supporting our bold targets under the Global Health Security Agenda, cooperating in a global partnership against the spread of weapons of mass destruction, and engaging in other multilateral institutions to promote transparency, build capacity, and strengthen global norms. We also agreed to work in close cooperation to strengthen the supply chain security and resilience, and to ensure that Canada and the United States are driving a robust economic recovery that benefits everyone, not just those at the top. That's especially important because we know that this pandemic is not affecting everyone the same way. Women are dropping out of the workforce at alarming rates. Black, Latino, and Native are also, and other minorities are particularly hard hit. We also agreed to work together on a inclusive recovery using the tools available through the small and medium enterprise chapter of our trade agreement to support women and minority-owned businesses. We also doubled down on our efforts to tackle climate change. It was really encouraging. Now that the United States is back in the Paris Agreement, we intend to demonstrate our leadership in order to spur other countries to raise their own ambitions. Canada and the United States are going to work in lockstep to display the seriousness of our commitment at both home and abroad. To that end, we're launching a high-level climate ambition ministerial, and to align our policies and our goals, and to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Prime Minister Trudeau and I share an unwavering faith in the capacity of our peoples to meet the challenges of this new age if we lead with our core strengths, our democratic values, our diverse and dynamic peoples. We both recognize our responsibility as leading democracies to defend our shared values around the world and to strengthen our own democracies at home. That means rooting out systemic racism and unconscious bias from our institutions and our laws, as well as our hearts. Today, we agreed to reestablish the Cross-Border Crime Forum and work together to modernize our approach to community safety and to do all the most we can, do more to take on racism and discrimination in both our systems. Canada and the United States are not only vital partners, we're NATO allies committed to shared defense. The Prime Minister and I discussed our work with our European allies to bolster transatlantic security, which includes meeting our Wales commitments. We also agreed to modernize the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, which is still the only binational military command of its kind. And we will launch an expanded U.S.-Canadian Arctic dialogue to cover issues related to continental security, economic and social development, and Arctic governance. And finally, coming on the heels of the G7 meeting last Friday, it was an opportunity for Prime Minister Trudeau and I to explore our bilateral partnership to reinforce and help drive issues of concern in our hemisphere and globally. That includes coordinating our approaches to better compete with China and to counter threats to our interests and values. Let me reiterate our support for the release of the detained in China, 2 Canadians, Michael Spavor and Michael Covering. Human beings are not bartering chips. You know, we're going to work together until we get their safe return. Canada and the United States will stand together against abuse of universal rights and democratic freedoms. We're going to strengthen our shared commitment to providing safe haven for refugees and asylum seekers, and so much more. The United States has no closer and no more important friend than Canada. Our nations share a close geography and history that will forever bind us together, but our values are even more consequential. But it's the shared spirit of our people that's going to ensure ours is a future of hope and opportunity. Canadians and Americans are innovative, creative, entrepreneurial, competitive, open-hearted, and rights-respecting. There's nothing we cannot achieve when we commit ourselves to it. And when we work together, as the closest of friends should, we only make each other stronger. So thank you again, Mr. Prime Minister, for your friendship and for your leadership. I look forward to when we're able to meet in person and all that Canada and the United States are going to accomplish together. So God bless you, and thanks for today.
Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you, tout le monde. Merci tout le monde. Let me begin by saying that all of us are thinking of our friends in Texas right now. I know Sask Power has been sending electricity down, and as I told the President,
can we see him?
Is here to help however we can. Mr. President, it's been great to sit down with you this afternoon. This is, of course, not the first time we've worked together. Back in 2016, I had the pleasure of hosting you here in Ottawa as Vice President. Over dinner, I remember talking about how the extraordinary friendship between Canada and the United States has not just weathered changing seasons, it has grown ever deeper and stronger. Well, today, we're taking our next step forward. The President and I discussed the ambitious new partnership roadmap based on shared values and priorities here in Ottawa as will guide our country's work together over the coming years. I remember talking about how the extraordinary friendship between Canada and the United States has not just weathered changing seasons, it has grown ever deeper and stronger. Well, today, we're taking our next step forward. The President and I discussed the ambitious new partnership roadmap based on shared values and priorities that will guide our country's work together over the coming years.
Beautiful.
In the face of COVID-19, of climate change, of rising inequality, this is our moment to act. So we're not wasting any time in getting down to work. Job one remains keeping people safe and ending this pandemic. This afternoon, the President and I discussed collaboration to beat COVID-19, from keeping key supplies moving and supporting science and research to joint efforts through international institutions. We're standing united in this fight. En plus de nos efforts communs pour combattre la COVID-19, on a aussi discuté de nos mesures strictes concernant les voyages pour protéger les gens des deux côtés de la frontière. Présentement, même si notre plus grande priorité est d'assurer la sécurité des gens, il faut aussi qu'on pense à notre avenir. Comme vous l'avez dit, Monsieur le Président, on doit rebâtir en mieux. La dernière année a révélé toutes sortes d'inégalités dans nos sociétés et plus que jamais, il est temps d'agir. Le moment est venu de rebâtir des économies plus fortes dont tout le monde pourra profiter. I know the President and I are on the same page when it comes to standing up for the middle class and people working hard to join it. And with millions of families relying on the Canada-US partnership, this is work we must do together. Just take the energy industry. Canadian energy workers power homes on both sides of the border. It goes to show that we're all better off for this partnership. Today,
That's a dig
the
at
President
Texas.
and I discussed leveraging supply chains and support for businesses to create good, well-paying jobs and help people who've been hardest hit get back on their feet. Ici au Canada, l'innovation et l'énergie propre occuperont une place cruciale dans notre plan pour rebâtir notre économie. Le président et moi avons discuté de l'importance d'une croissance propre afin de créer de nouvelles opportunités.
I can mostly understand French. Yeah, he just said the president and I have discussed the possibility of a croissant. No, I'm kidding. The possibility of working together on that issue.
De poser des gestes significatifs pour respecter l'accord de Paris et atteindre nos objectifs en termes de carboneutralité.
Yeah, the objectives of working together to meet the Paris Climate Accords and working together on the carbon guidelines.
Et plus pacifique. Pour protéger nos citoyens et nos communautés, on doit travailler ensemble. Il faut notamment renforcer la défense continentale et combattre l'extrémisme violent. Et partout dans le monde, on doit défendre les valeurs et les intérêts qu'on a en commun, par exemple en renouant les alliances et en soutenant les institutions multilatérales.
This is actually kind of a dig at Trump talking about getting re-involved in those multilateral and global coalitions.
Kovrig et de Michael Spavor en détention arbitraire en Chine. We're facing tough times, there's no doubt, but we're not facing them alone. Canada and the United States are each other's closest allies, most important trading partners, and oldest friends. And we stand united to beat this pandemic and build a better tomorrow. And I know our bond will grow even stronger. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Joe, for your leadership, for your engagement, and thank you in advance for all the great work we're going to be doing together. Merci,
Thank you, Justin. Au revoir.
Biden very impressed with Trudeau. You could tell Biden very, very impressed with Justin Trudeau there. All right. So any number of things mentioned with some digs. I wish that the digs at Trump would have been in English rather than in French. But very, very exciting stuff. And resuming some of those relationships once again. I'm going to try to do the stream tomorrow for the Jen Psaki press briefing, which I believe has been scheduled. Appreciate everybody who signed up and supported. Maria Bussman just grabbed a membership on my website. Jody Troop has signed up. So has Connor Eggleston. Appreciate you guys. Inconsolable continues to gift subscriptions like their Bitcoin all over Twitch. It's wild what is going on. So thanks to everybody for joining me. Let's get a raid out there. Why don't we raid? Oh, I don't know. Let's raid Destiny today, just for the lulz. It's been a long time since we did. And we will be back so soon with more content. I'll see everybody.